Doing good. Oh my God.
Fine.
Huh?
The internet was just going crazy per usual. It works any other moment, but until I need to use Zoom, it
So
was like not working.
I did the first when I interviewed Harry and Kyle. The first time we tried to do it, the internet people were out here fixing the line, so it didn't work. And then we tried it again, and it still didn't work. And I was like, "Really? You guys were working perfectly, and now that I want to do an interview, you just don't want to work at all." So I
It
told
always happens like that.
when you need it to work. So where are you? Are you still in the city, or did you go home to Buffalo?
I am in Buffalo. I'm in Lockport where my mom lives, but I'm working in Buffalo. So yep, I'm back in Western New York.
Gosh, this is crazy.
And
Oh my
it's sunny in March, which is insane. Well, April, but still.
March was so long, girl. Like
It was the longest month of my life. It was like March 20th for like 2 weeks.
I'm like, what is happening? Like that was it's been so crazy. And like I don't even know another word to kind of explain what's been going on besides crazy. Like we work in the film industry, but literally we are living in a movie right now.
No, seriously. I'm excited to see what quarantine movies come out. I hope I can work on them. Seriously.
All right, so tell me what has been going on with you. So I know you were in the city, you were working on the Showtime show City on a Hill, right?
Yep.
So what
In the
was
locations department.
okay, so tell me a little bit about what you were doing for them on that project.
So I was a unit PA with City on a Hill. So I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with that, but it's pretty much like an entry level locations department job, which you're trying to like sign the sets. You're helping out with holding. You're helping out with catering. You're kind of an assistant to the location assistant and the assistant location manager.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really great. I started working with City on a Hill in January. And we were about to go into like episode 3 when we got the talk. They told us on a Friday that we wouldn't be back for 2 weeks. And we were hoping that it would just be 2 weeks, but now it has extended to I don't know when.
So were things changing a little bit? Like, did you notice? Because I think like I was still working in Buffalo, and like we know that there was a lot going on in Toronto, but it just didn't feel like it was close to us or anything. Were there talks? Like, were you guys having any other safety measures, or did things just feel normal for you guys before like they officially closed down?
So obviously, in locations, we're kind of like responsible for like making sure that people have things like hand warmers and stuff on set.
Yeah.
So that things definitely changed. My location manager we rented these huge hand sanitizer stations that me and the other unit PA had to carry in our van. And it just had like 3 different, you know how like the bathrooms have like the hand soap, you have to press the dispenser. It was like a hand sanitizer dispenser. And then I was walking around set asking people, do they want hand sanitizer, and like squirting it in their hands. And putting up signs telling people to make sure that they wash their hands. And on set, like usually people handshake at the end of the night. This was a great week, great day, you guys. Everyone was just kind of like bumping elbows.
So there was things that were starting to change a little bit.
Exactly. And then it was New York City, and New York City is the epicenter of any pandemic in America because it's a huge international city, and we have 2 international airports. So people are just coming in from everywhere. And then at one point before we finally realized that production was shutting down, my location manager had pulled us aside and kind of like gave us a hint, like, I think we'll be kind of ending soon. And it just sucks because with locations, even when we get back, like, a crew is easily 200 people. So there might be a lot of places who don't want us using their space as catering, who don't want us to use their space as holding because they don't want to risk like their people.
Problems.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even think about it. It'll be so good. I'm so excited. Even though we're starting this conversation, I'm excited because you do work in locations. So it's like, oh my God, so many things kind of go through that department. Even after this, a lot of that will come on you guys as far as locations and like different safety measures. So when did you guys kind of get that call, or when did she tell you that things were kind of gonna start to shut down before it actually, you guys got the final word?
She told us at the beginning of the week. I would say it was like a Monday or Tuesday. She had kind of hinted it.
Yeah.
And then that Thursday, the first AD had my boss text me, my location manager actually texted me and said, hey, can you come to set? And I was doing something completely different, like 2 blocks away and holding. per usual as a unit PA. But I came to set, and the first AD had told all of us that they were going to have a huge meeting with all department heads that Friday morning, and they would let us know by 12 in the afternoon if production would be shut down. And so then they had their meeting, and then that's when we got the email all at the same time.
What was the vibe of the crew like? I would say that whole week, did it feel like people wanted to shut down? Did it seem like people still wanted to work? I know you said that people weren't like, handshaking, but what was the feel like on set for that week?
I think it was 50-50. I feel like my department as a whole, we were like, even though we were location, we were pretty nonchalant. We were like, oh, like it's not a big deal. And that's also due to the news not really making it a big deal, you know what I mean, to the public. Like we didn't know the extent of the coronavirus at the time, but there were some people who were like hard out on, I want production to be done. I want to be with my family. I don't want to work like amongst 200 people, rightfully so. I think as far as finances go, the PAs, like we were all like worried because
we need some money.
Exactly, like we're not in a union. Some people like being a PA, like at times you are living paycheck to paycheck because we are in the most expensive cities in America, LA, Atlanta, New York City. So I think people were concerned about that, but it was 50-50, I would say.
Yeah, I think even for me and just other people, like it didn't feel like it was like impacting us. Like I think I started to take it serious once I got to Atlanta, and like I started to see it get more like crazy. And so that first weekend I was just like, and this is before they started to say people needed to stay home, I was like, I'm not going out. But when I was home, I think it was like before that second week of March, like I know there was things happening in Toronto and it was a little bit here and there, but it just didn't seem like it was gonna blow up how it
Exactly.
did. So I was like, oh, it's nothing. I was just like, it's whatever. It was like, it wasn't even a thought in my mind that we would be where we are right now. I was like, I could never have imagined this at all.
No, same. I thought that it was just going to be the 2 weeks. Now I don't think we'll probably be at work until like May.
Girl,
And I'm nervous. I wonder if that's going to like change the calendar, because we were supposed to end June 5th was like my last day at work.
Girl, you're not June 5th no more.
Like, I don't know. I mean, the upside to that is like, at least I know I have a job this summer. Like, because I was worried about that. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do after June? When you work like the freelancer, you're always concerned, like, what's the next gig going to be? But now I know there's a bunch of gigs this summer, okay?
Yeah, because everybody's got to come back. So are they still paying you guys? Did they pay you for the first 2 weeks? What kind of happened with you in your department?
They paid us for the first 2 weeks. Okay. And then my location manager, who's amazing, encouraged all of us to apply for unemployment if we needed to. So they're supporting that as well.
Yeah. So when did you kind of decide to, because you were working in the city and you decided to go back home to Western New York. Why did you decide to go back home? And then I definitely want to talk about what you're doing now and the insight that you're getting.
Okay, so I definitely realized I wanted to go back home because I thought that we were really just going to be 2 weeks off and then back. And I was like, well, Easter break is only one day. I'm not ending until June 5th. It was more about just coming home to hang out with my dad and my mom. Like, that's the reason why I came home.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was just like, I won't see you guys all summer. Like, I plan on working this summer. Like, let me just go home and visit you guys for a week. And I spent 1 week in the city, and I was going to spend the second week in Western New York. I got an email from my old employer that I used to work for about, I would say, a year and a half ago. It's a doctor's office here in Buffalo, New York. It's a rheumatology office, so they really focus on the bones, like pain and joint issues and rheumatoid arthritis. Mm-hmm. And so they asked me to work at their front desk as a receptionist because a lot of the people there had kids or they had family who, if they get the virus, they had a huge chance of passing away. So they just didn't want to risk being in a doctor's office. Mm-hmm. And my doctor was like, you're young, you don't really have any health issues, so you might could fight it. And for me, I was like, that's a plus, because I didn't want to file for unemployment yet because I know there's a certain amount of time that you can get it.
Yeah, but it's like a long time. You know that, right? It's like a whole.
I know, but I have travel plans, so you know. I'm trying to hold off if I don't have to because I'm trying to, hang out in Thailand,
Like,
but
money. But don't say that because you technically you're not allowed to get unemployment if you out of like your work state. So you
I
can't
heard.
say that, Jhane.
Okay, don't make sure we edit that part. All right.
They hit me with that the one time. Oh my God, real quick. I was calling because they needed me to come in for something. I was off I'll be out
No.
of the country. They was like, well, then you can't get it for this week.
No
What?
way.
Excuse me. They were like, yeah, because you're not at your work state. I was like, and my mom was like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? And I guess because obviously you're supposed to be actively looking for employment. I don't know, but you know how it works in film. It's like I'm taking off for a whole month. Like, I know my
You're told on yourself.
nobody told me that. Like, I didn't know that nobody told me that. Now I know. So I'm letting you know, girl. Like,
Okay, I have heard of that. I was trying to finesse, But so the rheumatology office that I work at, a lot of the medication that we prescribe for rheumatoid arthritis and for joint pain makes you immunocompromised. And if you're immunocompromised, you have a higher chance of getting COVID virus, but not only that, passing away from it. So a lot of our patients are nurses and our essential workers who have been fighting tooth and nail with their employers, pretty much saying like, I know I seem healthy, but the medication I take makes me at really high risk for COVID-19. So it's been a lot of me calling these employers, trying to explain that and writing medical excuses. We have a lot of older patients who come in. So it's me kind of making sure the place is sanitized and things like that, just making patients feel comfortable. But it is really, really heartbreaking. We had patients who have called and said they have COVID, and that's really, really sad. So we're praying for them and trying to give them the best advice that we can.
so when you say you're calling employers, or are you trying to get them out of work? Or
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah, so we have, for example, I won't give full detail because of HIPAA, but we've had nurses who have called pretty much and said they want me to like work the front line of COVID-19 patients, and I can't.
Because under
And
juice or
yeah, so like, I would send a letter to their employer, and then their employer is sending back all these other forms for us to fill out. When it's very simple. She takes so there's, for instance, there's a medication called Plaquenil, which is like pretty much all of our patients use, but they're using it for coronavirus right now to try to cure it. Yeah, so I have a lot of patients calling saying the pharmacy says they don't have my medication, or we're trying to tell their employer like, hey, this medication, like they need it, so it's hard. It's sad.
wow. And are you
Yeah.
a lot of employers fight them on that? Like, are they trying to say, no, I mean, because you say you deal with a lot of nurses, but is it because I understand why it might be difficult, why they don't want to lose the nurses. Not that it's okay,
Yeah.
but is it other type of employers, like who, I guess, is fighting you guys on this, even if you're stating and giving them documentation that their medicine, is making them more susceptible to getting this virus?
I've had like receptionists at hospitals. I've had a woman who works at a factory, and I had a person who worked at Target. So all type of employers have been trying to get like more documentation to prove that the person is ineligible to work during this time. But most of the issue that employees are having when the patients call is that a lot of employers are trying to get out of paying them. So now we're having all these people call and apply for FMLA, which is like the Family Medical Leave Act, that ensures that a person can get paid while they're away sick. But what's happening is I've had patients who have called and said, hey, Jhane, can you fill out this form? Have the doctor sign it and get it back ASAP. I called, a lady sent me a form on Wednesday. I called her back Friday, let her know I was about to fax it over. Her employer had already laid her off in those 2 days after having given her that form. So people are dealing with stuff like that, getting laid off so they won't get paid. So employers are purposely doing that to people. So it was heartbreaking because I just talked to her Wednesday. She had to have gotten the form from her employer. It had their information, their fax number. And knowing that they given her that and then laid her off, it's just, I don't know, it's heartbreaking.
Are they saying at all that they would hire them back? Like, I
don't go into detail about it. I try not to press the issue because I don't know what else is going on in their personal life. Yeah. So I always just say, like, just give me a call back if you need, like, any type of help. But I will say, overall, most employers have responded well. But it is, I think, one not responding well is one too many.
Give us some good news. We don't want to believe and employers out here is just doing people dirty. Like, we need some hope in here.
Yeah.
Because
We are doing telemedicine appointments, which is hilarious. A lot of our patients are old. They're like 78 and 65. And they're calling me like, Jhane, I don't know how to set up this video chat with the doctor. So I'm on the phone with them for like 30 minutes, like press settings, click the camera. Of course, they don't click the right thing. And so it's helping a lot of grandparents out there understand how to use their smartphones and tablets.
At least that's a little, kind of fun and funny type of thing. Nothing too serious. You can help them out.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. Some of the stuff they say is very funny. Some people have had to call their grandkids to come over and just do it for them. One lady had her 8-year-old granddaughter who pretty much, I had to talk to her granddaughter on the phone because she was just like, I cannot get it.
Oh my gosh. What would you say is something that obviously, I'm pretty sure you didn't think like, oh yeah, I'm going to hop back into working in this field after doing film. What is something that you've kind of been learning during this whole situation, like working at this office during the whole COVID-19?
I've been learning, I know it may sound weird, but to appreciate the small things in life. Just like the fact that I'm healthy right now and I'm young. I'm like learning just to appreciate that, because a lot of people who call in, they don't have that, It kind of made me realize that I kind of like need to take more time for myself now that I'm back with like this 8 to 5 schedule. I have like a list of things I do after work or like I can do before work that I neglect when I'm working in film because of the hours.
Yeah, 14 days.
Yeah, so it just made me realize that I need to just add some self-discipline when I get back into the field, to my own life. Like, I'm always eager to be on set, but I need to be eager about that. I need to have that same eagerness towards myself. And, I'm always eager to make someone else's vision come true, but I need to have that eagerness for myself. And I think that's what it made me realize. And I mean, it just made me grateful that I'm still able to work during this time. Yeah. And it also made me realize that I need to keep up on current events, because had I, picked up a newspaper a lot more, or go on NewYorkTimes.com, or, stuff like that, would have probably kind of not been so shocked by things that have been, revealed in the news lately.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. So I talked to Ty, his name is Ty Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Sure if you know him, but I met him back in 2018 on a film in Buffalo, and me and him spoke yesterday, and one of the things we talked about was how, we all want to work in this industry, and there's certain things that we want to do, like, he wants to write and produce and direct, and like, we all have these things that we want to do, but obviously we have to work in these specific roles in the industry until we get there. But, with the hours and just job after job, we kind of lose sight of what it is that we really want to be doing. And we lose sight of the vision that we have for ourselves. And so this time is also really allowing a lot of people, even if they're not able to write all the time or create these crazy stories, I think it is allowing people to kind of really just reflect and think and listen and really dig deeper into themselves about like what they want to be doing. And like, I think maybe when things go back, I think they'll have a deeper sense of purpose, or work with a purpose, and remind themselves like, why am I even doing what I'm doing?
Exactly. That's what I hope happens with myself as well. I did a DIY passion planner yesterday. I went to like Dollar Tree and just bought a bunch of like stationery stuff for $1. Because it made me realize, like, at work in this job I'm at now, and even when I'm back on set and locations, like, everything is always written down. What they want me to do every single day is always written down. And I'm like, why don't I have that for myself, that I need to do every day for myself? Because it's not real until you write it down. So I just was like, I want to write everything down, whether it be take a 5-minute walk tomorrow. I want to write it down on paper so that when I visually see it, it makes me want to act on it instead of saving tasks in my mind, because that does not work for me.
Yeah, I've been journaling a lot more. And like, even if it's not every day, but I'm definitely more intentional about journaling. And just like, I just think so much more. Like, I just sit here and think like, what really makes me happy? What do I really want to be doing? Like, you know, I've been so caught up in like, what am I going to do after this job? And just, you know, so much about what's happening. And I said, I just need to chill and like just really think and reflect on what's going on. And like, I have the time to do that now. Like,
Yeah.
if, you know, even doing stuff like this, like I love being able to talk to people. And so it's not difficult for me to create in this aspect because I just like engaging in conversations. Uh,
Yeah.
and what I have to upload it and create like a picture. But and so I love this, you know, just kind of seeing what we're all going through similar things. But I know, especially for us in the film industry, a lot of us are just kind of out of work, don't really know what's happening. Some people, you know, like you found other work. And so it's just really cool to see kind of what we are all going through to kind of get through this whole situation.
Yeah. It made me realize the power of budgeting too.
Are you
Seriously.
budgeting or do you need to get it together?
Need to get it together. That's what I need to do. It catches up to you. It's like you work, locations, we're first man in, last man out usually every single day. So it's like,
You get a lot of hours. I would think you make
yeah,
money.
we get hours. Like I love being at work, but when the weekend gets here, I'm always like, I need to pamper myself because I worked all these hours, and then you just overdo it. Like,
Money.
yeah, like I deserve it. I worked 80 hours this week, and then it's just like, okay, you also deserve to save too. Like,
Yeah. It's like,
yeah,
where's the balance? See, I will be honest and say that I am not on that wave. I make sure I have my, you know, 6 months of living expenses and I save my money.
I need to be like that.
So I've kind of understood that. And so I think in this, and also I will say, I had the ability to. I'm not disregarding people who don't have the ability just because they don't make enough to save that. And this is just speaking to people who do, but just don't. And so I kind of understood that, especially like reading, you know, listening to family and reading up and listening to podcasts. I was like, no, I need to have this amount of living expenses. So, and even with our industry, like I think it's important. So when this happened, I was like, well, I'll be fine. But you know, I'm in Georgia now. I signed a new lease, and the situation I'm in is work kind of pays for my housing. So I was like, well, this is a little bit of a different situation. Like I didn't prepare for this to happen, you know. So it's like
Yeah,
you can prepare, but sometimes even you just can't prepare for certain things like this.
you can't at all.
But no,
How is Georgia going for you? How are you keeping yourself busy?
so I got here and I worked for 1 week. And
Yeah.
then that's when, you know, it kind of just was like, yeah, we not coming back. But I have still been working from home. So I am fortunate that I'm still working and getting paid.
Oh, that's good.
And to be honest, I can't say much, but we just were very early. So it wasn't like, you know, we weren't filming or anything like that. But I would say this week has been good for me because before that, I was, you know, I said this in Thai, so people, if they listen, they'll hear it again. But basically, I was kind of in this state of like, okay, so we're pausing or are we stopping? Does that mean like I got to pack up my apartment that I just got here a week ago? Do I have to go back home? Do I have to pay to get out of this lease? Like, I was in the state of like, I don't know what is going to happen. And so I was stressed every day because this job was going to take me through the end of the year. I had it all planned out. So my mind was going crazy. But I feel a little bit better. We're just, you know, on hold. And I think like every production is just trying to like, especially with the TV shows and the networks, they're just kind of wait it out and, you know, hope for the best. So, but I'm better. You know, I have an aunt here.
Oh, that's good.
I have my aunt here. So I did, you know, leave my house and I went over to my house last weekend. But, you know, they don't go anywhere. And I went for Sunday dinner. I think it was
Oh,
good.
that's sweet.
Yeah, and so I'll be there for Easter. But other than that, I am in my apartment by myself. I go out for runs. I'll sit on the patio to get some fresh air. I do a lot of virtual workouts with like my mom. I FaceTime all the time. Um, Last week I had like a little virtual dance party with Diamond. So, you
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
know,
I saw that.
so it's a lot of like stuff like this, like virtual things, so that I still feel connected to people. And I think that's one of the great things is like, even though virtually, I don't know if this is an accurate statement. It's probably not, but I feel like in some kind of way maybe more people are more connected because they're not caught up in their everyday lives where they can just maybe talk to people and spend hours talking to people that they haven't spoken to in months or years. So in some kind of way, for the people who aren't, like struggling with their health and they're okay and they're just kind of stuck in their homes, I think some people are able to take advantage of it and do a lot of like virtual reconnecting with people.
No, definitely. It made me realize like I need to make more time when I get back to work to like make sure I call my dad more throughout the week and call my mom more and like make dinner plans with my cousins and my sisters more because
And
I'll be tired.
when we spending the money on dinner plans, we were just talking about sex. Here we go. Here we go. You're gonna be like, no, but see, because of quarantine, now I need to like my family to dinner. We gotta spend time together.
No, honestly, the first month and a half in New York City, I am not going out to eat. I cannot. The wait times are going to be insane. I told my sister already I'm not. Like probably the first 2 months, I am not. But I'm going to a bar with Diamond the first night that it opens. We have made that.
No, I'm excited but also I think things aren't gonna just go back to normal. Like they're definitely not. Like even when you guys return to set, I can't even imagine what that is gonna like for you guys, like the safety precaution that you guys are gonna take. And there was a meme that I saw, and it was like for the first, what did it say? It was talking about like for the first like month or a couple weeks, once they stopped with the lockdown, they were like, I'm gonna wait to go outside. You know how iPhone released their first one? I'm gonna wait for iPhone S. It was like outside S.
No, honestly, I'm definitely wondering
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm wondering how like locations is going to change. Like I know that there are going to be new rules in place. Like sometimes when we're on set, as a unit PA, like we're responsible for getting trash and stuff. And sometimes we'll be doing something on set and maybe someone will say that trash bag is full and like we just grab it really quick, not wearing gloves, and just go toss it in our pile and then like wash our hands afterwards or something like that. I'm sure that probably now like gloves all the time. Yeah. It's just sometimes we don't always have gloves on because we're doing another task at the time. I wonder if production or locations is going to be responsible for hand sanitizer. Like now, we were kind of going back and forth with that before. I know the one time the other unit PA Cat had to go to like 4 different stores before we were able to find some hand sanitizer, and that was when we were still shooting.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna implement some type of sanitizing department. Weird, but like maybe just people who are like, especially on set, sanitizing different areas more often. Like, I don't know if they're limiting the amount of people on set, like just making sure it's only people that they absolutely need to be there. Like, I definitely think for production to continue after this, especially where you are in New York City, that is the like epicenter of all of this. And so I think there's gonna have to, like, you just can't return shooting normal how you were before. Absolutely not. It doesn't just, the virus isn't just going to completely wipe out. So I definitely think there's going to be some changes made, and I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to be.
And I'm nervous that it will cause a delay on things as far as like when we get back, because I mean on set everyone's pretty much needs to be there.
Yeah.
With the exception of like, I don't know. I mean, everyone, I don't know who doesn't. Like, when you said that, I was thinking in my head, like, who doesn't? But everyone needs to be there. Like, some people are on set for hours, but you don't need them. And then the 1 second you do, you got to, like, go get them from base camp or something. No one, first AD will scream if he needs to, you know what I mean? Like, so every
30 seconds.
Exactly. So I can't imagine, like, who doesn't need to be there. So I wonder, like, how can the industry really change things? What can we do? It's only so much that we can do because you can't have a 10-man crew on a feature film or a Showtime show,
No, I think it's just more about kind of limiting and like, I don't know, different time slots. I think of.
I see.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's not just like, we don't need to do everything at once. It's like this department can focus on this with their select amount of people. I don't know. They're definitely going to have to arrange a couple of things. And so there's going to be some changes. Just a couple last things. Do you have any advice, or what do you want to say to any other like creators or filmmakers who are kind of going through this situation right now?
I would say don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to create, as you know, we work crazy hours, to use this time to catch up on things that you don't usually get to. If you want to binge watch Stranger Things for 3 weeks, then binge watch Stranger Things for 3 weeks. If you want to just like eat junk food and FaceTime your best friends all day, because we don't always have time to do those things, cherish those moments. Don't like feel the pressure to have to work, or be productive. Other advice I would have is still network. Don't think that this isn't a time to network. Catch up with other people you know in the industry and see what they're up to. And maybe they know someone who decided, hey, I'm not coming back to New York City, and they know that their spot is opening up. So just make sure you're constantly networking. And if you were in something that got suspended, just make sure you're actively always reaching out to your department. I'm always trying to make sure my boss knows, like, hey, I'm still here, like, just always make sure that you're reaching out. My department, we talk to each other on a weekly basis. That's also another way for myself to network. And just take care of your mental health too. Don't let it get to you. I know it's really, really hard. It's stressful, but just, I don't know, meditate, read some books.
Yeah, I think what you said, the one thing is like maybe just focus on the things that you have been neglecting before this. And if it's creating that you were neglecting, then create. But maybe if it was like self-care, mental wellness, if it were those things, or talking to friends and family, then it's time. Maybe just focus on the things that you didn't have time to do before, and just maybe chill out. If you were always on the go, chill out. But if you're a person who is genuinely happy and you thrive being busy, means do you just don't feel pressure. Like I don't want this to ever happen again, but it's also the same thing where it's like I don't think there will ever be another situation, at least maybe not in our lifetime, where like things are literally shut down for weeks on end, where like you're forced to just do nothing. So take advantage. The people who are able to, who are healthy, who have that luxury, because that is a luxury. If you're not sick or out on the front lines, just kind of make the most of the time that you have.
And also use this time to network if you're interested in working in another department. Like, it made me realize more and more, like, oh my God, when I get back, hopefully I can get a gig on a talk show. That's what I eventually want to do. So it's like, so it's a good time to catch up. Like, if you work in locations and want to do costumes, like, use this time to email people back, because everyone's free. So this is the best time to get a response, I think, from anyone. So like network.
If they respond, it's like, nah, really, you just ignore me, because what are you doing?
Exactly. So reach out to everyone now. This is the best time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much,
Jhane. Thank you.
It was so good to see your smiling face. And I tell everybody, once things clear up and after it gets better, I'm hopping on a flight to New York City to turn up with my girls at day party, brunch. So I'm so ready. So I cannot wait to see you. Stay safe. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I definitely appreciated putting yourself out there, because you could have just said, no, I'm staying home, gonna do unemployment. So thank you, girl. And it was so nice to chat with you. Okay.
No problem. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.